Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Rhyme of the Times for the week ending 8th of August 2026. A sudden migrant inflow from Morocco and Farage lets us know how reform will make small boat crossings a no-go. An explosion in Moscow and Russia's oil depots are aglow with blow after blow from their chosen foe. But although Putin and Co may feel low, they won't let it show. A great sporting show ends in Glasgow. Trump's mood swings to and fro as peace progress with Iran is still so slow. Arday and Bonehill-Paine opt to go when the backlash starts to grow. Burnham is determined to check everything over, and on Sunday he made a long trip to Dover. The number of small boat crossings has dropped of late, but many think it's still too great, and it grates. The timing of Andy's trip to the southeast coast, to the place that suffers the small boats the most, had cynical voices beginning to wonder whether the trip was meant to steal Reform's thunder. Because on Monday Reform UK called the press. In London they had this very matter to address. With their hobby horse on display, they had much to say on how they would keep the small boats at bay. Using the Navy, they'd keep migrants at arm's reach, sweep them up and dump them back on a French beach. But critics were sure a return to the French shore might solve one problem but create many more. British warships in French waters would test the law. In fact, France said they'd treat it as an act of war. Perhaps it was the scenes from 2 days before that had brought the small boats once more to the fore. Moroccans had come into Spain in their hordes, making a trolley dash for Western rewards. Across the border to Ceuta, the Spanish exclave, they swam across the sea, wave after wave. 60,000 migrants, disordered and lawless, across the border, permeable and porous. They were quickly returned from whence they came, but the message was loud and clear all the same. Joshua Bonehill-Paine this week found fleeting fame because the Tory party had put him in the frame to be their council candidate for Crewkerne South, leaving even many Conservatives open-mouthed. He once did stir for a hate rally that he stirred with online posts full of anti-Semitic words. He was also convicted of harassing racially Baroness Berger when she was a Labour MP. But now it seems the toxic keyboard warrior has turned a new leaf. Couldn't be sorrier. Many didn't buy it and just kept attacking him. Badenoch bought it and was now backing him. She said her party believes in second chances, and this, she felt, was a case to enhance this. On Wednesday the storm rose, but was soon just a squall as Bonehill-Paine chose not to stand after all. Instead, he'll complete his journey from online troll to born-again do-gooder with an unpaid role, advising the party on policy and decisions through its Culture and Integration Commission. On Sunday morning in Kudryskaya Square, they cleared up after the previous night's mayor. Muscovites had been in a restaurant and had a blast. The sort of blast that meant the laughter didn't last. A device exploded and damage was vast. 21 were injured and 3 people passed. But it wasn't seen on any Russian newscast. Putin's desperate denials keep holding fast. But with Ukraine's fight back getting out of hand as they destroy oil depots across Russian land, causing gas station prices and queues to expand. Even with free speech and dissent in Russia banned, the flames of unrest are starting to be fanned. And on Tuesday, Russian folk getting themselves tanned, relaxing in the Black Sea and on golden sand, were suddenly struck by a drone unmanned. Even Putin's cowed people must now understand that the war ain't going as the midgets are planned. As of now, this incident has not been owned. Ukraine made no comment, but how Russians moaned. 7 killed and many injured by the drone. No hiding place for Russians as Putin's war comes home. On Sunday came the conclusion to the Commonwealth Games, and most felt that it had succeeded in its aims. It was competitive and friendly and had proved that it can thrive in its new slimline 10 sport format. Last Thursday, Trump's announcement got little mention, perhaps because he often just seeks attention. The news that Hamas would be disarming soon should have been a boon, not a lead balloon. Such promising news was something to report, but sometimes Trump's words can only be bought when accompanied with a shovel full of salt. So often have his upbeat words come to naught. And sure enough, this week it was hard to tell that the trumped-up peace talks are indeed going well. On Wednesday, Jason Arday had a very hard day. By the end of it, he'd chosen to walk away. He was and still is the youngest ever Cambridge University black professor, but that record's now marked with an asterisk, its integrity now at serious risk. Because untruths seem to plague his CV, with plagiarism also rife in his PhD. For Cambridge Uni, an embarrassing affair, although the alleged case of copying, to be fair, occurred in a dissertation written elsewhere. It was Liverpool John Moores that seemed not to care that large chunks of the written piece of our day was seemingly lifted from someone else's essay. Sensing danger, Cambridge's water mitty quit before the investigating committee gets down to the detail, the nitty-gritty. And presumably Arday, now that he's quit, he will still face censure from Cambridge. More's the pity.